Today we're going to talk about resolving a boundary survey, what a boundary survey is, and the importance of it. Boundary surveying, in a simple definition, is retracing a land's boundary lines, basically their property lines. There's a lot of steps in this. There's a lot that goes into doing this. As far as you have to know the history of that land, the history of, in general, of surveying. You have to know how to operate the equipment, and you have to know the legal steps that are involved in making this happen. Now, a boundary survey is used for several different scenarios, but a real basic one that's common is, say a farmer has owned a plot of land for generations, and he's been marking the same corner just by cutting his grass, or he knows that's his property corner. He's always known that for generations. But he has a new neighbor that moves in that disagrees with him and thinks he owns, I don't know, say 100 feet past that into farmer's field. So either one of them would call in a surveyor. They would have to come out, recover monumentation, determine where to set new monumentation according to old deeds and just history of that area, and just to settle that dispute. So that's a big reason for a boundary survey. With that being said, we'll talk about history of a boundary survey. Basically, it all starts right after Revolutionary War. Ohio was the frontier at the time. America was expanding, so the surveyors were sent out to Ohio to subdivide that land to what we know as today as the state of Ohio. Here's the original map of those subdivisions. I'll touch base on a few of the major areas. There are 9 major subdivisions. The first one's the Virginia Military District. That was subdivided based on very simple equipment use compared to what was used in the northwestern subdivision of Ohio. But Virginia Military District was subdivided to those who fought in the Revolutionary War, and America was bankrupt. So that is what was given to the soldiers, was that district. The Northwest District of Ohio was kind of the final piece of the puzzle. According to C.E. Sherman, the way Northwest Ohio is divided and surveyed is the way the rest of the country is surveyed. So that's a very, very small part of the history of surveying and boundary surveying. So I'm going to transfer over to what equipment was used. So when this was originally divided, the equipment they were using were compasses, perch poles, which according to surveyhistory.org, a perch pole is just a long wooden pole measuring at 16.5 feet. And they were used just to measure between monuments and to set new monuments. Today, instead of perch poles, we have a robotic total station, and that is basically a robot that will shoot a laser toward a reflector prism and give me a very, very precise measurement. So yes, as you can see, equipment has evolved. Technology has evolved with surveying. So how to actually resolve a boundary, you have to put all the history and the equipment all into one. First step you're gonna do is research the land you're doing. See which district of Ohio it's in, because everyone is different. So you have to know the area. You're gonna research deeds from that land, old deeds. See where old surveys were done in that area before, and this is done before you even go out to the property. Once you get the property, you're gonna locate left monumentation, as far as an old stone that has a X marked in it, a pin, an iron pin or a pipe to mark a corner. Once you've done that, you're going to use a GPS unit, and coming from my own experience, a GPS unit will record accuracy to about the size of a golf ball. So you will record a point coordinate on that old monumentation, and then if you can't get a GPS unit, maybe trees are in the way, you use total station, and you will traverse back to those points on an arbitrary system. Once you have data collected, it'll go into the office, into AutoCAD. There you will translate and rotate that monumentation in the research found from deeds to determine where you're going to place the new boundary. I mean, the goal of a boundary survey is to retrace lines, and that's according to Brown's boundary and legal principles. So once you've determined that, you'll actually go back out in the field and you'll set new monumentation, and then that deed will be recorded and sent to the IRS website. That is how you resolve boundary.